Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Leonard Lee, and in this video we will talk about how to create an edge-lit LED sign by preparing a file for a laser cutter using a free open source vector graphics editor. The file will have an image for the laser to engrave as well as a shape to cut out. For materials, you will need a sheet of 1/8 inch or 3mm cast acrylic and an LED base. I've included links to where you can purchase these in this description. Alright, let's get started. We are going to be creating our sign in the Inkscape program. Once you have the program open, go ahead and change the document size to 6 inches by 6 inches. This will give us a general guide to the size of your sign. Next, we'll import your image. Here is one image that I found on the internet. You can see it's kind of a large image, so you'll want to resize it according to your document size. You can hold Control while dragging to maintain the image's aspect ratio so it does not become stretched or distorted. If you don't hold Control, it can get pretty distorted. Another way that you can resize the image is by using these up at the top. Be sure and lock the aspect ratio here, and then you can just change size like this. So say we wanted 5 inches. Since we're using a raster image, as you can see when I zoom in, it gets all pixelated. We will want to do a image trace. So we'll do that by using path trace bitmap. This live preview checkbox here lets you see what it's going to look like. We're going to stick with the default values for now, but you can use these values to kind of tweak how the trace works. Go ahead and hit OK. Close the dialog. Once you finish the trace, you will have two versions of the image, one that is a vector and one that is a raster. Tell which one is which by zooming in, and you can see that this one's the raster, this one's the vector. Delete the original raster version. Go ahead and resize this to 5 inches wide. Next step is to duplicate the current layer. Layer, duplicate current layer, and then we'll hide the current layer. To see what's going on with the layers, it's helpful to show the layers dialog. There's the original one that's hidden. There's the new one that we created that's a copy of the original. We will want to select the copy version, as this is where we're going to be working on the cut line. In order to create the shape to cut, we need to first create a shape that covers the entire image. First thing we'll need to do is select the image, do a path break apart, and then finally a path union. You'll notice that it didn't fill in this section here, and that's because there's a break in the shape here, but we'll take care of this in a little bit. Now this is an optional step that you can do. If you wish to expand the cut line so that there's extra space between the engraved artwork and the cut line, you can select the image, do a path outset, and that'll make the image just a little bit bigger. You can keep doing that until it's the size that you want it to be. For our case here, we're going to just leave it without the outset. Next thing to do is to draw a rectangle with the rectangle tool. Come up here to the toolbar to enter in the exact values. We're going to enter in 71.5 millimeters by 16.5 millimeters. This will be the part that goes into the lamp's LED slot. Next, we'll want to align the rectangle with the shape. Go ahead and select all using Control A, and then do Object, Align and Distribute. This brings up the Align and Distribute panel. Select Relative to Biggest Object, and then click on Center on Vertical Axis. Next, drag the rectangle up near the bottom of the image's outline. Hold Control while dragging to prevent any diagonal motion. So something like that. Pretty close to it, but not touching. Now, let's create a shape to connect the rectangle to your image. Make sure snapping is enabled. So this thing is highlighted, and this snap to paths and snap cusp nodes, including rectangle corners, is also turned on. We'll go ahead and use our pen tool here, which can draw curved lines or straight lines depending on whether you drag when you click or not. So here's how you would do straight lines, for example. Shape. Hit enter to complete the line. So that's how you would draw one with straight lines. But I think we're going to want to actually do one with curved lines. I'll show you how to do that. Use the pen tool again. And then after each click, you want to drag through like that. Don't worry about the exact placements or curves of the lines for now. We can fix those later. Again, hit enter to finish the line. To actually edit the line, we're going to use this tool, the node tool. And what I like to do is to get a real smooth line here, I'll make this straight up and down. You can do that by holding Control. Same with this side. Let's see. I guess this one probably doesn't have to be straight up and down. You want it to kind of follow the curve of the cloud here. Something like that. When you've got something that you're satisfied with, combine all the shapes into one shape. Do a Control A to select all. Do Path Union. Now you notice that we still have a unfilled portion here. We want to make sure that that gets filled. Do like we did before and do a path break apart and followed by a path union. That makes the shape completely solid with no holes in it. In order to see both the cut shape as well as our original image, we will need to change the fill and stroke properties of this cut shape. Come up to Object, Fill and Stroke. This will bring up the Fill and Stroke dialog. Now on the Fill tab, we will hit this X to remove the fill. And on Stroke Paint tab, we'll hit Flat Color. Now it is time to unhide layer 1. Come over to the Layers panel over here and click on this closed eye icon next to layer 1. And then change the stroke width of the cut line. Our laser requires that the cut line be very, very thin. So the way to do this is to select the cut shape, come over to the Fill and Stroke panel, Stroke Style tab, and then for our case, we will change the width to 0.1 points. Here's an optional step that you can do, and this won't matter if you have a symmetric design, but you can mirror the entire image. The difference is subtle, but having the engraved side on the back of the sign actually looks a little bit cleaner. Here's how you do it. Edit, select all in all layers, Object, flip horizontal. Finally, we'll come up to File, Save a Copy, change the type to PDF, and we'll save PDF here with the default settings and use that to send to the laser.